It is about to be an Oval Office meeting for the ages. Zohran Mamdani, the commie, heads to Washington tomorrow to meet with the man himself, President Trump.
The New York City mayoral-elect is very confident about it.
I'm not concerned about this meeting. I view this meeting as an opportunity for me to make my case. And I'll make that case to anyone, frankly, as we've been doing over the course of the campaign, and now as I will be the next mayor of this city. It behooves me to ensure that I leave no stone unturned in looking to make this city more affordable. And this is a meeting where I look forward to speaking about the affordability agenda, public safety, and economic security for each and every person that calls the city home.
For more, let's bring in National Review Editor-in-Chief Rich Lowry, the Federalist reporter Brianna Lyman, along with podcast host Ben Ferguson. I begin with you, Ben.
You want to be in this meeting, don't you?
It's pay-per-view. They could raise massive amounts of money for charity.
A charity grudge match.
If it could be fascinating, but well, one, I will just start. President Trump has history here.
Yeah.
And he has seen the worst of the worst. And
yeah.
He knows what causes problems for New York. And if Mamdani goes and actually listens to him, there you go.
Let me tell you, I think this is maybe the most brilliant part about Donald Trump is he will meet with anyone, whether it's Kim Jong-un or this yahoo from New York City. And I'm like, good, because if you want to change people's minds, if you want them to actually understand that what they're doing is like catastrophically wrong for a city that he genuinely loves, I think this is a brilliant meeting for the president. Let's have him in. Let's have a grand debate. Let's talk about your ideas and ask 3 questions until the guy realizes either he's stupid or he's really dumb. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's, like, how are you going to pay for this stuff? It goes back to the free busing. It's like, how are you going to pay for it? He said in an interview, he's like, well, we're going to pay for it by raising taxes on the rich. The governor's already said you can't do that. So now how are you going to pay for it? Like, I hope that's the conversation the president has with this guy, and maybe he'll learn something. I doubt it, but maybe.
Brianna, everybody wants to see what's going to happen here because Mamdani promised the moon. He said he was going to do all these things. It wasn't going to cost any, we'll just raise taxes on billionaires, which I don't even think should exist.
Yeah. He also promised to be the president's worst nightmare back in August, and yet a few months later, he's basically going down there to grovel. So I'm assuming he had some advisors saying, look, you have more to lose than you do to gain by fighting with the president or picking a fight right out of the gate. That being said, what's interesting between Mamdani and Trump is they both ended up running on a message of affordability. Obviously, they have different means to get to those ends, but I do think because they both care about affordability to some degree, Mamdani should go in there with open ears and a shut mouth, right? He should let President Trump explain how federal funding actually works, how you actually govern, and don't go in there with any kind of posturing. Don't go in there with these ridiculous demands that are detached from reality, because that's going to get him nowhere. But if he goes in with open ears, you know, he might be able to kind of smooth things over a little bit.
Because Mamdani can go in and say, New York is a socialist economy, period, now. 2/3 of the budget is like social services, the schools, and then pensions and fringe benefits. That's an actual like budget item. And then it runs and owns the hospital system, part of the hospital system. So he could just go in and say, it's already socialist. What's everybody upset about?
This is the irony of the whole phenomenon, right? New York has an affordability problem because it already has socialistic policies, and he wants to double down on those policies. But look, I think Mamdani needs a good meeting more than Trump does. I think he should be worrying about this meeting and think about it very carefully how he's going to approach it. I think it's fairly easy to have a relatively pleasant meeting with Donald Trump. He should come with some sort of gesture. You know, we found this old photo in the archives of your father's first apartment building in Queens. Will you sign it for me? Or we framed it for you. Or we want to deliver
before we burn
Brooklyn.
it down and give it to
some
exactly.
Person, right? Yeah. Before the rent's free in this apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, banter about something you both have in common, sports or whatever, say we both love the city, and then try to get out. And I would absolutely demand no press availability, because the chances of him getting steamrolled in a public meeting
Can I be a cynic for just a second? Yeah. I really do think, though, the reason why Mamdani had this meeting and wanted it and called for it publicly and not privately is because I actually think he wants this meeting to be a war, because he wants to use it for whatever is next on his agenda. I think he's already looking past being the mayor of New York City. I actually think this is a flashpoint they're wanting. I don't think this is to learn. I think he's probably wanting to go in there and say, I stood up to Donald Trump, and then he can use it on his stump speech for whatever he wants to do next.
I think one of the biggest flashpoints is going to be about security, about illegal immigration, Brianna, and also about ICE, because there's absolutely no way that they see eye to eye on this issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day between the two of them, right? Yeah. President Trump ran this past election cycle on mass deportations. Now, the first term, it was build the wall. And Mamdani here is saying, I'm not going to cooperate with federal authorities to deport illegal aliens. He's also made it clear that illegal aliens are out there helping him campaign, apparently. So that's where he gets his base from. So these two men are extremely different. They're not going to find common ground on there, but I do think this is an opportunity for Trump to remind him, I control the federal funding on this one.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Mamdani still has no idea how he plans to pay for the agenda.
No.
Listen to this.
How are you getting that money, the $700 million to make the buses free, into the MCA if she's not for raising taxes?
You know, I think that the two clearest ways to raise that money is through the raising of the state's corporate tax to match that of New Jersey. I think that a lot of this is still a case to be made, whether it's the corporate tax or whether it's the personal income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year or more. I think that these are the clearest ways. I've also said that if there are other ways to raise this funding, the most important fact is that we fund it, not the question of how we do it, but that we do it.
Well, that's an answer. But interestingly enough, Mamdani could go in and say to President Trump, you do realize my entire campaign was based on your first campaign and your second one. I picked 3 ideas. People laughed at me, but I hammered them, and they just made sense to me.
On social media,
and
a whole
boom,
new way
boom,
of
boom, boom,
campaigning.
boom.
Yeah.
And it resonated with me, with the people, affordability. You do realize I kind of indirectly owe you. This.
Well, again, that's if he wants to have a good meeting, that's the kind of thing you do. But in terms of the buses, this is the problem socialism has. There's no such thing as anything that's free, right? Even if it seems like it's free, there's some cost to doing it rather than doing something else, an opportunity cost. And this is nearly $1 billion. You have to get somewhere. And people think corporate taxes are some magical thing. They're one of the most economically destructive taxes that exist. Now, Hochul may bow down to him and actually do this, but it's going to be horrible for the state.
And how would you pay for it? I feel like that answer there was like Bill Clinton-esque, like, what is the meaning of is? Like, that was just a really, really bad answer for me.
This is what happens when you get a 30-something-year-old who's only run an Instagram account and hasn't had any experience.
But don't worry, his mom and dad will bail him out. He said it publicly if it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, $117 billion budget. All right.
Free buses still don't work because
they did it in Portland. It was a disaster.
Because buses don't go where you need to go, and they're slow as bejesus.
That's the problem with
No one
buses.
pays
It's
for
not
it
the
now
cost
anyway.
issue.
Because they're still buses. They might be free, but it's still a flipping bus.
Rich Lowry, Brianna Lyman, and Ben Ferguson, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to see you.